Okay, so I want to tell a story today. And that story is about how one of my aunts in my family do not talk to me because they think that I, at the age of 16, did something with her partner at the time. And I have been a nervous wreck to talk about something like this and to tell this.
It's about the spirit of chaos and confusion attached to the Braxton family now.
It just felt like love from my family was just cut off and gone. And you're like, but wait, that guy? And it made it even worse because it was like, wait, this guy that was doing this to you on TV? And like, it's kind of in cohorts in the same spirit of what was happening. Not in the same cohorts, in the same spirit.
The Braxton family has always been known for their drama, both on and off screen. Every time it seems like there couldn't possibly be more to their complicated family dynamic, someone comes forward with another shocking revelation. This time, it's their niece Ashley, who's coming out with her own story of betrayal and hurt. She's claiming that when she was just 16, one of her aunt's partners made inappropriate advances toward her, and rather than facing the issue head-on, the family swept it under the rug to protect.
She found this conversation, this sort of conversation, and she showed it to my dad, and my dad called the aunt, and we spoke about it, and we talked about it a little bit. And I remember just a lot of emotions, with a lot going on. I was 16 at the time, and I'm 32 now. I had to think about it. I'm 32 now. And so, oh my God, it's been 16 years. This is wild. Anyway, okay. So yeah, my aunt was there for me. She was very kind and very nice and was like, I'm so sorry that this happened to you, blah, 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 blah. And not blah, 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 but she was very kind, and it just felt like safe, you know? But then as the years had gone by, it's like that mood and that assumption that I didn't do anything because I was a child.
The man involved. What makes the situation even worse is that Ashley was cast aside by her family after the incident, and no one stood up for her. Ashley recalls that when she was 16, she found herself in a conversation that would change everything. She shared the details with her father, who then called her aunt, and they briefly spoke about what had happened. Despite the difficult situation,
it's family, but the most interesting thing is like my life was not a reflection. What are you doing? And I just looked at her and I said, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. And I'll never forget her face. She looked at me like, okay, so you're leaving? You just got here.
Yeah.
And there was that look of like, babe, I'm so sorry, but I've got to go.
Yeah. Have you spoken with her subsequently about what was going through her mind at that point in time?
No, it's interesting. She passed away 3 years ago.
Oh,
There's so many. I know. There was so many things that I never got to ask her.
yeah.
I did get to in a dream. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
But that was really devastating for me when she passed away because A, the person who had also gone through what I had gone through was gone. So obviously me speaking, people are like, is this a made up story? I didn't have that person.
Yeah.
I didn't have that connection anymore of someone who truly understood me. And of course, I left, and I left you in a sort of semi-difficult situation. And then also growing up, there was, I guess, when you're touched inappropriately as a child and then it sort of manifests and then you start doing it. So then there was a lot of guilt there because I had sexually touched her.
Right.
And so for me, the reason why she passed away was because of drugs.
Ashley remembers that her aunt at the time was kind and sympathetic. She was told it wasn't her fault because she was just a child. And for a moment, Ashley felt like she had the support she needed. But as time went on, things changed. The aunt's tone shifted, and Ashley began to feel as if she was being blamed.
He just super duper messed up and was like, you know what?
I messed up, but I'm gonna do everything that I can to make amends and make my marriage work. And Dr. Sherry, you know, I called you about something recent that happened in Gabe and I's relationship. I feel like we went back a good 25 steps. That is why I do not wear my ring.
You know, I was going to point that out.
You're gonna ask me, why aren't you wearing your ring? Take it, pawn it. I don't want it.
No.
The symbolism is gone. When that ring was put on my finger, what it symbolized no longer applies. So I don't want it. And I don't care how much it's worth, keep it. It means nothing to me.
Gabe, do you understand what that's about?
In the middle of the night, she had a gut feeling that I was doing something that I shouldn't be doing. So I gave her my phone.
And then snatched it from me.
And then then I started thinking, I was like, well, shoot, I'm not checking your phone.
Well, was there anything?
For the incident. It was as if her family didn't want to acknowledge what had happened, and instead, they chose to protect the man involved. This left Ashley feeling abandoned. At the core of this family drama is the complicated relationship between the Braxton sisters. Over the years, their bond has seemed fragile, filled with ups and downs. It's not the first time a family member has stepped forward with accusations of mistreatment within the family. What really stirred up the public, though, was when the Eastside identity of the aunt and her partner was revealed. The man involved was none other than Gabe, Trina Braxton's ex.
I really had to take the time and go back to that part of my life and understand how much feeling of like I didn't matter, that I was unworthy. It just felt like love from my family.
Husband. While Ashley didn't initially name anyone, her description of the situation left enough clues for fans and internet sleuths to piece together the story. Once the name Gabe was mentioned, it all clicked into place. The public now had a face to match the allegations. As the details began to unfold, it became clear that Trina Braxton had initially been understanding and supportive of Ashley. She expressed her regret for what had happened and reassured
In the sense of there's hate screaming from your heart. You know what I mean? It turns into pure hatred and rage. So before, maybe things were to happen and I couldn't retaliate, so I internalized it, but an emotional way as a kid would.
Yeah.
Where when I got older, I mean, it turned to real.
Ashley that she wasn't to blame. However, as time passed, Trina's stance on the matter changed. She began to believe that Ashley had tried to seduce her husband, which led to the niece being cut off from the family. The woman who had once been a source of comfort now viewed Ashley with suspicion, and that's when things really started to fall apart. What's particularly painful is that this situation is not isolated. It's part of a larger pattern of dysfunction and trauma within the Braxton family. Trina's marriage to Gabe was tumultuous, and her struggles with him were evident. Gabe was known to have cheated and caused emotional turmoil within the family. Trina herself struggled with addiction during their marriage, and her bond with Gabe seemed to trap her in a cycle of hurt. When Gabe passed away from cancer, Trina's grief seemed disproportionate, leaving even her new husband, Vaughn, confused. Despite the pain and heartbreak she endured, Trina's desire to protect Gabe remained strong.
Shame to talk about. But the truth of the matter is that, I have been molested, by both sides of my family. And it's not nothing.
Even after everything he had put her through. Her need to shield him was so strong that it may have influenced her decision to side with him, even when his actions hurt her family. In the aftermath of everything that had happened, it was clear that Gabe had left behind a trail of destruction. He may have been trying to make amends in the later years of his life, but the damage he caused in the past couldn't be undone. His behavior had already broken apart relationships, and the consequences of his actions still lingered. Trina's reaction to his death and the way she held on to him made it even more evident that
That is absolutely the root cause of her family's generational trauma, okay? She's not the sole cause. Michael Braxton Sr. got some issues too, but she is the fish rots from the head. I was once told that millennials have the luxury of depression, and I know that's gonna sound really jarring, but if you sit with it, it's very true. Because being depressed means that you can sit in your emotions, and if you are in survival mode, you can't stop to sit in anything. Evelyn Braxton has been in survival mode most of her life. I don't know what that woman went through. She's never spoken about it, but the way she bottles things and the way she copes, she has spewed that toxic coping all over her family. Because I'm trying to think, how would Michael Braxton Jr., how does a father allow his daughter to experience that, right? Like what? Then again, Michael Braxton Sr. abandoned his daughters for.
She was deeply affected by the toxic dynamics of their marriage. Ashley's story also highlights a deeper issue within the Braxton family, a history of unresolved trauma. Growing up in such an environment where love and trust were not guaranteed left Ashley feeling as though she didn't matter. She was born into a family where affection seemed conditional, and as a result, she struggled to find her place within it. This feeling of being unimportant only grew stronger as she dealt with the aftermath of her experience with Gabe. In a TikTok video that went viral, Ashley spoke out about how her childhood trauma shaped her and how she struggled with feelings of guilt. She shared that she had been sexually abused as a child, and the emotional scars from that abuse followed her into adulthood. Ashley confessed that for a long